Welcome children to CBSE the 10th class first flight, a part of literature. We'll start with chapter 1, that is A Letter to God by G.L. Fuentes. It was published in the year 1940 in Mexico. Let's see about the author. Gregorio Lopez Fuentes. He was born on 11th of July 1897 and he was a Mexican novelist, a journalist. He went to sea as a deck boy with his father when he was 10 years old. As a teenager, Fuentes worked on cargo ships that went out of the Canary Islands to Trinidad, Puerto Rico. He migrated permanently to Cuba at the age of 22. Fuentes, a lifelong cigar smoker, died from cancer in the year 1966. He was the inspiration for the character of Santiago in Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. He got an award for as the National Prize of Arts and Sciences in the year 1935. He had written a few books, among them we have Campamento and Arrieros. So this was about Fuentes. The letter we are going to read, The Letter to God, this is the story at a glance, or summary you can call. Let us see what it is. It is a story that revolves around the idea of having unquestionable belief in something. The story is set in Latin American country Lencho. The farmer, who is the protagonist of the story, writes a letter to God seeking help from the Almighty after discovering his entire crop yield destroyed by a devastating hailstorm. Although his wishes got fulfilled partially, if not completely, he is ungrateful in the end and questions the honesty and the modesty of the postmasters who actually helped him with money in the name of God, though they never revealed it. Now we have the characters that we find in the story. The first one, the protagonist Lencho. He was a man of limited means and earned his living by farming his fields. He had unshaken faith in God. He believed that God always helps people with a clear conscience. Therefore, when he lost all hopes and he and his family were on the verge of starvation, he looked towards God for help. His deep faith in God even impressed the postmaster who decided to help him. He was a little educated to write a letter. He shows his innocence by trying to have a correspondence with God directly. While he had an unshakable faith in God, he mistrusted easily the motives of men. He could never know, nor did he ever try to know, who had sent him those 70 pesos to help him. It is quite ironical that he abused his helpers by calling them a bunch of crooks. This was what we see in Lencho's character. Now, the postmaster. He plays a major role in the story. We'll see how when we go through the story. This is the character. He is a good and kind person. He has a thorough understanding of a sharp, sympathetic, and sensitive mind. He knows how the mind of a God-fearing rustic like Lencho works. He doesn't want to break the deep faith of Lencho in God. First, he laughed at the man who wanted to have a direct correspondence with God. After reading the letter, he was deeply moved and impressed by it. He knew that merely goodwill was not enough. The farmer needed financial help, so he collected a sum of 70 pesos from his employees. He also contributed a part of his salary and sent it to Lencho. So these were the characteristic traits in the character of the postmaster. We also have the post office employees. They made every effort to help Lencho. Though they were not the major characters, but they did have a great role to play in the story. They were considerate and full of compassion. They wondered at the faith of the man who wrote that letter. But they contributed something as an act of charity. They could not collect 100 pesos but only sent 70 to Lencho. Only a single word was written as a signature, that is God. That shows it was from God. So these were three characters we saw. First we saw Lencho, then the postmaster, then the post office employees. Well, the chapter, when you go through it, there are a few words which you might find difficult to understand. For that reason, there are a few words, it will help you. First one, faith, which is trust. Then ruined, destroyed, counter. A long, flat-topped footment across which business or transaction is conducted in a shop or a bank. Many other places also you see a counter. You can get a ticket counter, for instance. Then counter clerk, a person who sits at the counter and whose work is to look at the records or accounts. Then acknowledgement, the expression of gratitude or appreciation of something. Appropriate, suitable or proper in the circumstances. Counterfoil, the part of a check, receipt, ticket or other document that is torn off and kept as record by the person issuing it. Then we have record, a thing constituting a piece of evidence about the past, especially an account kept in writing or some other permanent form. Then we have valley, a low area of land between hills or mountains, dotted, marked with dots. Then harvest, the process or period of gathering in crops. Downpour, a heavy rainfall, we also call as if it's raining cats and dogs, that is raining heavily. Then intimately, in a way that involves close link or relationship. Predicted, forecast, stated or estimated as likely to happen in the future. Approaching, coming nearer in distance or time. Exclaimed, cry out suddenly in surprise, strong emotion or pain. Then cent means 100 also, children. A monetary unit in various countries equal to 1/100th of a dollar, euro or other decimal currency unit. Satisfied, contented. Then we have drape, that is covered. Resemble, having similar appearance or some qualities in common with someone or something. Frozen pearls, it specially refers to hailstones. Upset, sad, disappointed or worried, you can say. Conscience, a person's moral sense of right or wrong. You can also call it as a guide. Then mail, letters or parcels sent by post. Then pesos, the basic monetary unit of several Latin American countries and is equal to 100 centésimos of Uruguay. So centésimos of in Uruguay, it is equal to 1 peso. 1 centésimos is equal to 1/100th of a peso. Then envelope, a flat paper container with a sealable flap used to enclose a letter or document. Amiable, friendly, broke out, to start or begin. Tapping, the action of striking against something with a quick light blow or blows, or a sound made in this way. Commented, a verbal or written remark expressing an opinion or reaction. Correspondence, a close similarity or connection. Then we have to shake somebody's faith. It means to make somebody doubt something that they were certain was true. Evident, obvious, or clearly seen or understood. Goodwill, friendly, helpful or cooperative feelings. Resolution, a firm decision to do or not to do something. Then obliged, to be grateful. Then charity, that is kindness. Contentment, a state of happiness or satisfaction. Deed, an action that is performed. It could be a kind act, a noble act. Then denied, to refuse to admit the truth or existence of. or to not to accept. Public writing table, it is a writing desk. Then wrinkling, to make the skin on your face form lines or folds. Affixed, stick, attach or fasten something to something else. A bunch of crooks, people who use their power and position for their own personal advantage. Knave, showing lack of experience or judgment. It is also innocent. Conflict, a serious disagreement or argument. These were a few words, children. These words would help you a lot. Thank you for watching.